Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk about something that I have had since the launch date, but I've never actually reviewed it, and that is the first generation of the Google Pixel Watch. Now this thing you can find today for around $70 used. That is a steal for a smartwatch. Yes, there are some negatives, we're going to get into it, but the new Pixel Watch 3 is coming out this month of August, so I'd expect those prices to go down even more. So stay tuned, let's get into the goods, the bads, and why I think this watch is definitely worth your money in 2024. Let's talk about the build quality. So this thing is built incredible. Now I must admit, I've talked a lot about the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro on my channel. I like the build quality of the Google Pixel Watch first generation more than the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. That's not because it's built better. The Watch 5 Pro is built out of titanium. It is much more durable, but there is something about this watch that has this almost teardrop type glass. It's a Gorilla Glass 5 on the front. You have a stainless steel build. It weighs pretty, it's not too heavy. It's about 36 grams. And the only downside is that the screen is only 1.2 inches. And you also have these crazy big bezels. I'm not a huge fan of that. And it's just very small in the hand. I am a dude. I prefer bigger watches, and I feel like this watch is a little bit too small for my liking. I really hope with the Google Pixel Watch 3 that's going to be coming out this month that they include what's rumored a bigger watch, because I want a larger screen. I really like the build quality overall of this device though. I think even in 2024, this is the first generation. We're going on Gen 3. This is built incredibly well. I got this really cheap plastic screen protector on here, and it's done a fantastic job. I use this thing all the time when I work out, I go running. The stainless steel case on this has held up very well. I got no dings, no significant scratching. It just looks great, and I've used it since day one. I also want to mention... Cusco wants to say something. Cusco, weren't you going to tell them about the IP68 water resistance? Well, that. So we'll keep going. Who is using this thing to go diving or something like that? You're not. You're only going to be using it when you're running outside, the occasional rainstorm. I don't bathe in this. I don't understand why people bathe in smartwatches. So if you're just using it like the typical person, no offense if you're not that typical person, the water resistance is perfectly fine. So on build quality alone, when you're paying $70 or less, this is an incredible buy in 2024. Completely recommend it. So let's talk about the display. I want to start with the downside. It's pretty small. 1.2 inches. It has pretty big bezels compared to its competition. That's not a huge benefit, but it is a beautiful AMOLED display. Plus, you get about 1,000 peak nits of brightness, so you can definitely see it when you're outside, especially in my Florida sun out here. I can see this thing very clearly outside. If you just use this thing as a typical smartwatch, a companion to your main device, who cares? I mean, this thing works great. You're not going to notice bezels that much, and you're not going to be staring at it like 24 hours a day like you're watching YouTube on this thing. You're looking at a 450 by 450 screen resolution as well as a 320 ppi, so it's going to look great. It's AMOLED, it's poppy, bright. I really don't have a lot of bad things to say about this display other than it's small. So Google, please, with the Pixel Watch 3, give us a bigger display. I personally don't mind the bezels. I just want it to be a bigger display overall. And of course, I should mention that this is going to come with your always-on display. Now that will drain battery life, and we're going to talk about battery life because that is a potential issue for some. This is a solid display, and I really have very little to complain about. So now comes the potential deal breaker for some people. That is the battery life. The battery life lasts me only a day. I think this thing even has sleep tracking and stuff. I'll have to look that up. But I've never used it because why use it when the battery life is that bad? Now, if you're just getting a watch because you want something to look at the time, just the occasional messaging back, taking phone calls, and you don't care about sleep tracking, and for the price point that you can pick this thing up for, and I keep on reiterating that because, guys, it's $70, and when the Google Pixel Watch 3 comes out, it's going to be even less. For the money you pay for this thing, it's a no-brainer. This is an incredible buy at that price point, regardless of the battery life being a little bit subpar compared to the competition. This thing has a 294 milliamp hour battery compared to something like the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, which has a 590 milliamp hour battery. Simply put, this thing should have had a larger battery And I really hope that the Google Pixel Watch 3 that comes out this month is going to have an even bigger battery, hopefully toward that 600 milliamp hour. I would love to get like 2 days of use out of it. So don't buy this thing for battery life. If you just want it for the occasional use, it's going to be totally fine. Now let's talk about the performance. So I remember when this thing came out, the people were looking at the specs going, oh no, it's a crappy chip. It's going to be so bad. And specs wise, it is rocking Exynos 9 series chip. I think it's the 9110. I can't exactly remember. I'll put it here on the screen. If you're going to buy this thing and you're worried about it lagging, stuttering, I get no stuttering, I get no lagging. This is as fluid as some of the Apple Watches that I've tried. And I've said this on my previous video, the Apple Watch is so far ahead of Android smartwatches, being an Android fanboy, that I was very impressed with the Google Pixel Watch. The performance on this thing does not disappoint. You're going to get a very fluid, very user-friendly experience. A smartwatch is used as a companion to your phone. Yes, you can buy this thing with LTE. This is an LTE model. But even if you have a SIM card in there, you're not going to want to do that long term. So for most people, they're using this thing as a companion or as an accessory to their cell phone. I am very satisfied with the performance of this device.
This is a test of the Pixel Watch first generation speakers. Test, 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 test.
This is a test of the Pixel Watch using it on my wrist. Test, 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 test.
Now let's get into the software updates, and here comes another potential deal breaker moment. The software for this watch is going to be supported by Google up until October of 2025. Go on to Reddit, go on to Google, go on to whatever website you use to research, and you'll find there are some people that are still using the Gear S2, the original Gear watch of Samsung, and they don't have any security updates. What are you really storing on your smartwatch? Do you need this thing to be as secure as your smartphone? If your smartphone is secure getting software updates, do you really need this to do anything more than just a watch and the typical fitness tracking and responding to messages? You really don't. If you're really concerned about the security and you're worried that you're not going to get the cool software features in the future, yeah, then probably skip on this watch. But again, we're talking about a price comparison between a brand new Pixel Watch and $70 or less. So, do you need a smartwatch to do just typical smartwatch things? If your answer is yes, you might want to still consider this watch regardless if it's still being supported by Google with software updates or not. Use it up until October 2025. There's still time left. And then when October 2025 comes, go, okay, we're in October. Let's see what's on the market. And then pick up a new watch for the price point. To get a little bit more than a year's worth of use out of this device, that's not a bad deal. So I still consider this. But keep in mind that if that really, really bothers you, yes, October 2025 is when this device should be no longer supported by Google. So that's the video. Thank you so much for sticking around. What do you think of the first generation Google Pixel Watch? Do you think for the price point, is it worth it in 2024? My personal opinion, which I've been pretty clear about throughout this entire video, is 100% yes. So thank you again for watching. Put your comments down below. Let's have a conversation. What do you think is the best smartwatch to buy in 2024? Or maybe what is the best value of a smartwatch to buy in 2024? Give this video a like if you liked it. Give it a dislike if you disliked it. I mean, you really got to do that. But please subscribe for more because there will be many more videos to come in the future. And I will see all of you next time. Oh, one more thing. If you haven't checked out my previous video, it should be down here somewhere, of the Galaxy S24 Ultra review that I did. I feel like it was my best video I've done. I am a huge fan of that phone. And if you're looking to switch from your iPhone 15 Pro Max or another Android device over to the Galaxy S24 Ultra, you got to watch this video. It's going to help you a ton, and I'll probably convince you to just go pick one up today. So I'll see all of you next time.